Hey guys, sup? We're back today with some PoBing. We're not really going to be testing much. We're just going to be PoBing what I plan to run tomorrow. I want to have a skeleton of a setup that will get me to endgame potential. I don't care too much about going past endgame, but I would like to finish all the acts. I don't know what the modifiers are going to be like either, so copy, leveling, gauntlets. So this is going to be for the gauntlet tomorrow. It should be fun. I haven't fully decided which one I want, but someone in the comment section asked for Architect of Chaos, so I'm going to start looking in that direction first and foremost before anything else. Okay, cool. Next up, we need to do copy, Architect of Chaos, and then this one we convert to 3.26. Yeah, and then we can use this to see what we're going. I know defensively, Everlasting Sacrifice is huge because 5 max all res is huge, especially going through the campaign. Chaos res would be a bit dicey. It's not going to be the easiest thing to get. Glimpse Chaos is also going to be something that we might want to consider using early on. The -2 auras is unideal, but I mean 8% max life and ES for free, share. But needless to say, these are going to be very, very similar in that we're going to just try to keep the same amount of points used through the thing. So first things first, Act 1, but in the first few levels, I looked through this already and I know that I don't particularly care to go here. Might be nice to. I don't think I care too much to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep 16 points. We're going to make sure the 16 points look something like this. And Act 2 is going to be 27 points. But again, you're going to make sure it looks something like this. And we're also going to have a source of endurance charges coming from mercenaries. Act 3. I should also look at skills. Is this really enough? These are very, very offensive. But here's the thing. We don't have access to automation at this point. We don't have access to cast when damage taken. We have access to auras and we 100% want clarity and vitality. Emphasis on vitality. But we don't really get auras until Act 3. So Act 2 will likely be similar. We're going to have a totem coming from Our mercenary decoy totem. I am considering something. Rejuve totem is typically pretty easy to get. Not easy, but assuming we get access to Rejuve totem, should be a decent idea.
Way I can pull up my like.
What is bead? Yeah. Oh, like what to? So when you.
Okay. Just going to leave myself muted. Then where were we? This is not. What is the name of this site? PoE planner? There's not PoE planner. It's my dude, what's your name again? PoE leveling planner. We are not the witch this time. We are a Templar. I don't think it fucking matters, man. We're gonna be taking. I want to see if at any point we have access to. Yeah, we do. Reduce totem is right here. We also have access to decoy totem. I think we can rely on our mercenaries decoy totem for a bit. But if we, because like we're going to get strikers. Strikers show up pretty early, and there isn't the biggest pool of potential mercenaries, so they will be there. Gauntlets, gems to consider, I guess. So we're looking at decoy totem. Why the hell is decoy totem? Rejuve totem. Decoy and Rejuve totems could be really nice, and we definitely want to have at least one of them. Shield charge, we probably drop this, to be honest. We probably don't care about that. We probably don't care about these two either. So we have the space for it at least. What else do we want to consider? Act 2, there really isn't much in the way of like gems we have available to us in the way of like defensively. We have steel skin at this point, but that's about it. Steel skin, we don't have any way to trigger it, so I'm not even going to bother using it. We have, yeah, that's fine, I think. Then by Act 2, do we get anything that's particularly helpful? None of the heralds, molten shell, again, no way to trigger it, so we're not going to bother. And then here, I assume there's nothing, so yeah. Then we get on to Act 3. Act 3 is where there's defensive decisions to be made in terms of auras and whatnot. So by Act 3, we have this. Actually, no, before we do anything. Act 2 is 28 points. This is, I'm going to say it's 38 points. So the aim is to have 38 points. We're going to have this, which means we drop all these. Then we just get mostly minion shit leading up to here. So I think we do this instead. We don't have spiritual command yet, but instead we prioritize getting to the life area. Oh, we also have this, so never mind. We still do not get there, so we're just going to do this and then put this in there. I think that is decent. This is where we're gonna be. And then in the same Act 3, we don't have any source of mana reservation or anything like that. So we kind of just have to make do with what we have, which is purity of element and vitality. Those two are important. Same with clarity. But how do we make sure we can use everything? Maybe this is the wrong choice, and instead we should go up here for life and for a reservation. That is the smart thing to do. So that is what we're actually going to do. The goal is to have 38. So again, reservation, more life. So again, we just shove things away until we're back down to 38. 38, and now we have some reservation. We have 12%, which is the equivalent of 1 and then slightly less than this. So we still don't want to go overboard with our auras because we still need it, but we need clarity to be decently leveled and vitality to be worse, in which case we might need rejuve totem or and slash val rejuve totem to help mitigate some of the lack of regen we have, because currently our only sources of regen include this. That's it. This one would be a source of regen, but we don't have it yet. I guess we prioritize this over that. That is Act 3. Again, remove shield charge for, and instead of depose order, we are gonna be going for fever for corruption. The reason we go for fever for corruption is so we can have all the val effects that come with fever for corruption. When do we get those crafts? Is there a way to tell? PoE wiki. Crafting bench. Soul gain prevention. So the armor from soul gain prevention is gotten from Bazaar, which is a map. The Act 2 location, the recipe located in a hidden room marked with 2 pillars and several symbols. Wait, what? Where's the cavern? So I guess there is a hidden location. I just have zero idea how to get there. So the main reason for soul gain prevention is going to be gotten in Bazaar. Hmm. And they have no links. Okay. So we have actually no reason to go for this until late game. Just to confirm. Yeah, it's just the map. So yeah, all right. In that case, we don't have to worry about it, saying that that's an end game worry. So we'll probably still do the same depose order. I need to get forbidden secrets early on. When do we get regen? Regen energy shield. To suffix, so Strand. Oh god, it's also end game. Okay, so that is also something that we don't have to worry about for a while. So how do we take advantage of forbidding some everlasting sacrifice and forbidding secrets? I mean, we have to have capped rest to even take advantage of it to begin with. And if that is the case, then by Act 3, we want to be gearing up to use that. So we actually want to be getting to this area. Okay, so the first ascendancy is going to be Forbidden Secrets, not Depose Order. Alright, that makes sense. Oh, that was always the first. Alright. So instead of getting this regen node by Act 3, we are pathing to 1, 2, 3. And while it is unideal to make ES not protect life, I think 5 max all res is just too good to pass up. And we're going to want to have a golem, a chaos golem as well. As soon as we get in Act 4, we're going to want to use it. We 100% want our defensive in Act 3. I think this is honestly defensive enough. Perseus, zombie, sure. Everything is fine except shield charge goes for our totem of choice, in this case, Spally Rejuve. Totem. And we have to give up something for it in the way of this has to go. Wave of Conviction is going. Same with Desecrate, Flesh Offering. Actually, let's keep Wave of Conviction. Let's get rid of Desecrate, Flesh Offering. Why? This is because I would like this to be paired with something else. Something to just make it tankier. What are good totem supports? Flame wood would obviously be okay. Totem. Support gem? Where's gems? Ballista, spell totem, multiple totems. There's nothing that gives them tankiness. I just wonder there was something. I guess it's a new unique. And Rejuve Totem just already has decent life, so. In which case, we can keep Desecrate Wave of Conviction and just switch Shield Charge. We have Frost Blink still. Then when we get our defense, our automation, we slap on Steel Skin. As for the tree, is this enough? Is a good question. I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Compared to Act 2. Okay, cool. Act 4. Again, compare to Act 3. This is 47 points. So going to slap there, go there, go there. Reservation, do that. Heals cost life instead of mana. Do I want that or no? I don't think I guess sure. I'm casting Absolution all day every day. It'd be nice. By Act 4, we are considering doing Ascendancy, and once we have Ascendancy, we want the Eldritch Battery. We also want this, we want this. We're going for 47, right? We take life there, and we can go here for more life, but at this point is when I say this is fine. Do we care about our specters? We have no source of endurance charges or anything coming from specters, but we can get some frenzy charges, which will feel good. Animate Guardian doesn't matter for Gauntlet. And again, we just want Val Absolution if we can get it. That is the part that is going to feel the most awkward about Val Absolution, is that we have to actually get Val Absolution for every rip. And it's probably not great. Probably not great. But anyways, that's it for Act 4. Act 4 gem wise, what are we looking at? Again, shield charge goes for, at this point, yeah, I think we'll keep Rejuve Totem so long as we don't have a Vitality. I want to keep Rejuve Totem. Everything else can stay the same. Defensively, we have this. My problem is we haven't gotten much in the way of reservation up until now. Like it's starting to worry me that we haven't. But like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're close to 2 different reservation spots that'll let us, especially here, because I think by Act 4 we start taking some. No, by Act 5 we start taking some really nasty phase hits. Act 4 is the Mines. The Mines has some characters that can give you some really nasty phase hits, especially if there's multi-proj. So how about instead of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of 4, Thing is, we need to be able to use 50% auras at this point. It's not negotiable. We need to be able to use determination as well as purity. Let me think. Six points. 1, 2, 3. They're both 4 points, but for some reason it prefers here to here. As much as I'm getting everlasting secrets early on, I think I'm worrying too much about the 5% max res, and I need to be worrying more about fizz hits. Especially because I suspect there's going to be multi-proj. I'm not sure what information we have about the Gauntlet right now, but let's see if there is more information. Zizaran. Is there full information? Please don't flashbang me. Never mind, it's gonna flashbang me. So let's see. Price pooling, how to join. The fact that they're giving us an MTX of killing Brutus makes me believe that Brutus fight is going to be something already. Let's just even start there. So we don't know what mods are there so far. What we do. Areas 1 to 45, less damage taken, increased. I fucking knew it. Additional proj and early pen. So act 4 is going to be fucking brutal with additional proj guaranteed. The shotgunning giant guy is going to be a pain in the fucking ass. Minions are also going to struggle to survive with all of these repeat shit. So, I mean, if we can get an Eval Absolution early on, we need to be giga over leveled from the zone. So, screw what this is even saying. I probably want to have more points than these. So, for every act, we probably want to go more points, but I think it's fine to keep doing this simply because if I run out of points to allocate in one act, I'll just go to the next while I'm still in Act 1. Like by Act 1, I'm probably going to be doing Act 2, 3 shit. But anyways, this is 47 points that's supposed to be in here. We're in Act 4. We need to have 2 auras. What the fuck do we do? We have that. 51 points, not easy, but we need to have that so we can have purity of elements. Two link or one link, purity of elements, copy paste, determination. We're Act 4 on the tree, Act 4 in here. What does our mana look like? We can handle this amount. Mana cost is 23. Mana regen looks like what? 48. Okay, this is actually doable. This is doable, actually. Which means Act 3, we do this and we just go this way. This allows us to have determ. Determ, purity of elements, flesh and stone, and clarity. We are going to be tanky AF. Just try us. Let's see. Oh, and golem. Someone stone golem? Nah. G, miss us with that. Someone chaos. This gauntlet doesn't have phasers chaos. It has early pen. So then the question would be, do we care for the chaos res? Or do we just want regen? Because regen, honestly, I think is giga. Never mind. We're going to keep someone stone golem. I just realized we can control S to save on PoB. I never knew that. But here, we're going to need to switch to chaos golems eventually because this does have phasers chaos. All right, so 46. Where do 40? What is? Okay. I'm guessing it's going to be like Act 5 is where it ends. But just to be safe, we're going to keep Chaos Golem all true. We also will not have the strength to handle this. Strength wise, we're going to need a bit more for flesh and determ, rejuve. It's all going to need strength, so we're going to need to do some tree. We're going to need to fuck around with our trees, the TLDR of this. So Act 5 we'll compare it to Act 4. We dump these. I don't remember how many we're supposed to have, but my guess is like 54, 55. Something like that. Brother in Christ, why are you going that way? Okay, how about we do this? We go this, as well as for bandits, instead of killing all, we either help Alira, which would help our early res by quite a bit, or we help Oak. Early res we can kind of figure it out because we're going to be overkilling. We're going to have a lot of resources to our name, so we should be capped on early res, especially running Purity of Elements. So I'm inclined to help Oak with it. We help Oak, that gives us flat life. This also gives us flat life, and this is more or less where the old tree. Yeah, this is exactly where Act 4 is. So we need a lot of strength moving on from here. So we're going to be doing everything we can for strength, which in this case is going down here for life. There's also a part of me that just wants to start off with this instead of these 4 points. But these minion damage nodes they are literally going to carry me in Act 1 because I'm not going to have any other source of minion damage. Literally, it's going to carry me. But I guess if I go 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd save 1 point. That would help me get like here, maybe. Yeah, I think this is fine. I'll make do with this. Fuck it. Then we take that life node and we take this as well, and this and this, and this should be where we're at the end of Act 5. 62 points will probably be a bit past. In a Gauntlet scenario, this should be accurate. All right, cool. Our chest should also have life, but just in case it doesn't, we always have the mastery available to us that we can use. But at this point, we have 125% increased life from the tree, which would be a big chunk of our defenses. We also have res. Now for Act 5, what is that going to look like? Chaos Golem. Absolution in its own links. Frostblink. Purity of Elements, Flesh and Stone. Clarity. D-term. Why can't D-term suddenly no longer fit? Is it because of clarity? Yes and no. What else is there? Somehow Act 4 tree is fine with Act 4, but Act 5 3 is not fine with Act 5. That means there's an aura I am missing. It's not the combination of you. We're going to go from the bottom up. There is no green compared to Act 4, so what the fuck? Okay, let's do. How about we just do this? We go into calc and we just see where all my reservation is going. Clarity is 190. It's not. Let's take it down to exactly where it was, 9. Let's go to 4. Go to 4. Let's go in here. Purity of elements is not checked. How? Excuse me, sir. What the fuck? Now it is. All right, so we can't actually hold all of this. Without clarity, we have enough mana to do shit. However, what does our mana regen look like? 17 versus 23. It's not comfy. We have mana regen coming from there, coming from here. Do I even want to go for this guy? Or do I just want to do this? It's a bit less in the way of regen, but we now have some spell block to our name. Level 1 clarity. We'll leave this as is for now. We need to figure out mana cost. Unless we switch the order at which we get our ascendancy, and instead of going for this, we just go in pure blood. By going in pure blood early on, we no longer have to worry about. We don't have to worry about figuring out how to make sure our ES is perma going up for the max charges. Val would be a bit more awkward, but then we just wouldn't rely on our Val skill at that point. And if anything, we could even be using SRS at this point if we're not going for Forbidden Secret until we get Val Absolution. That is something that's available to us. Okay. So with that being said, we no longer need vitality or clarity. And now we can go vitality instead. One link vitality. And we can take this to the exact level that fully reserves our mana. That just means Act 3. It should be in pure blood. So we no longer have to worry about costs. All right, that works. So Act 5. For this little bit of, I mean, it's all a little bit, it's 8% spell block. Never mind. I was going to say for this little bit of spell block, we're missing out on like an extra level of vitality. Like at the end of the day, spell block is spell block. Could be the difference in you living and you dying. So. All right, Act 5. What do our links look like? So it's vitality, determination, we're looking at purity of elements, determination, flesh, and stone. Oh wait, no. This is Act 3. All right, Act 3, switch to Act 5. So I think this is fine, but just to be safe, let's count our sockets. That's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rejuve total. All right, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then for total number of sockets we can have, I think it's 21, but let's just do 4 on helm, 4 on boots, 4 on gloves. That is 12. 3 weapon offhand, 6. That's 18. And then 4 on chest. That is 22. So we can have 22 total. So we do have space. If we have space, we can go for wave of conviction afterwards. So I guess we'll do that if we have space. Okay, so we have purity, determ, vitality, flesh, and stone. These are the things reserving all our mana while we are actively spending life. Which means from Act 4, we do not need to take this node. Same with here, we don't need this node because it just costs 100% of our life. That said, we might go for the increased life. So now in Act 5, we have more than enough points. So next up comes Act 6. This is 58 points. That's already less points than Act 5 has. Isn't that funny? Welcome back. What's up? So let's just undo everything that this guy has that it should not have. Then let's redo everything it should have. Compared to Act 5, it shouldn't have offering, should have that. Should have that. Everything here. Brother in Christ, why do you keep trying to take that node? Reservation. Flat life. Alright. Act 6. I don't know how many points we're getting. We clearly went too many at some point. So we're just going to keep up the trend and keep going too many. Priority goes for trying to get the full life mastery wheel. And how do we get the full life mastery wheel at this point? Our next ascendancy should be everlasting secrets, which means we want to take this soon. That said, we still don't have much in the way of we do have decent strength, but nothing crazy yet. So what we're going to do before then is we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Or did you go 1, 2, 3? We just do this 3. And now we have 1, 2, 3. We need a number 4 before we can take that. Before we can take the life masteries. Yeah, I think we need to do that. All right. In the meantime, though, this is where Act 6 will end. Then we have Act 7, which is basically just going to be the same thing. Honestly, from Act 7 onwards, like Act 6 is where I'm at. Act 7, let's just copy this. Old. And then Act 10. Because I'm tired of having to manually go in and do everything. So we're just going to do this. Act 6 goes to Act 7. Save. Switch to Act 7. Switch to actual Act 7. And compared to Act 6, it's perfectly fine. Manage trees. Move that up there. We are looking for how many points for Act 7? 68, 66. All right, that's not happening. I mean, Act 6 literally compared to Act 5 just took those 4 points. So Act 7 is going to need to take some points at least. So we're going to do that. And that's it. All right. Copy. You know what? Let's do it. Let's just go to Act 8's levels of, points. if we're up here, what is the closest life mastery? There is 1, 2, 3, 4 before 4 points, which is fine, but we're trying not to use our ES at this point. So we have this guy. This guy is at least 5 points away. This one is also some points away. Hmm. Oh, I do know where the next one is. So that is 74. We copy this, take it to Act 8. Remove our Act 8 over here. We delete old Act 7. Now we're looking for 83 points. So remove the compare, switch to Act 8. We're going to do this pickup. CB immunity, I guess, because why not? Then go down.
Build question.
Shoot. Then we pick
How good is how good really is a build with exposure on an enmity embrace build?
Doesn't Enmity's Embrace just set the res? Or is it just pen?
It's Pam. Damage penetrates fire resistance equal to your overcapped fire resistance up to a maximum of 200.
Let's just say perchance you get to 100 fire pen. You are going to be you're going to be treating a max res enemy like they were at minus 25 res. If you had to use exposure, it could help, but if they have overcapped fire res, that's not helping you.
Okay.
So like exposure is minus res. So if they have 100 overcapped res, exposure is going to take them to 90, but realistically, still have just 75 effective fire res. If they were at 50, then you'd be treating them as having minus 50 fire res and taking them down 10, 15 below that is not much of a multiplier. It could help damage when they're not capped on res, but not by that much.
Makes a lot of sense.
If you still want to pair it with there's still a universe where you want to pair it with, curse plus exposure, that still makes sense to do, like the whole package, because then you have less scenarios where you apply it and they're still capped on res. Because curse does way more than exposure. That said, there could still be other places where you can get more value from, but it's still helpful. Now, if you have the max of 200%, if you're able to get to the max of 200%, at that point, I wouldn't bother with this at all.
With exposure, okay.
Yeah, or curse, because say they have 75 effective res, you doing 200 would literally place them at minus 125. Reducing res past that, it's more damage, but it's not. It's stuff that's probably better spent elsewhere. It can help again,
Makes a lot of
but
sense.
you probably have better options available to you. But with Enmity's Embrace, do you want to have doesn't this not want to have max res?
I mean, most people I see just do get max res too, because you can still hit 200 without it.
Okay.
On an end game setup, at least. I can't speak to
yeah.
budget.
Like with investment, yes, you if you can hit 200 with the max res, then yeah, but going max res reduce, like when you first go max res, it reduces it, you know that, right? Because now your overcapped is reduced by 15, but just 15,
Yeah.
so it's still worth getting to 90. Like I wouldn't take 15 pen over 15 max res, but it's still something worth thinking about.
So many things take away my. So many things suck to and the setup that I don't love.
Like, well,
I was thinking putting a thread of hope, but that also does minus to auras. So any of these downside uniques are just like a lot more noticeable, basically.
because it's very hard to climb on the fire res because of the fact that it's reduced.
Very hard. It's very hard. I'm struggling out here.
Yeah, reduce will do that to you. You don't realize how powerful reduced is until you meet res that never has reduced or increased, and it's typically just res. It's like with res, typically you see minus flat number plus flat number. Next thing you just bring a multiplier in there. It's like, okay, now you can't cap me out. Maybe gonna do our Kali minion again. So much DPS free. Yeah, our Kali is free. Not free. I worry with our Kali defensively. Like, it should be a no-brainer to just go chaos minions with it. Just go SRS and you should be fine. But like defensively, our Kali just has nothing. And you start here, which is not bad, but like it just has nothing. But to be fair, neither does Architect of Chaos. Like, Architect of Chaos actually has stuff when you get to maps. It has some extra defensive layers it has access to. But like before that, it has nothing. It just has nothing. All right, Act 9. We can delete old Act 8. And now we're going for Act 9. Save, pull that up here, switch to it. And the first thing we are going to do is we are just going to take our masteries. This puts us at 2972 life, which is a lot of life. Actually, 160% increase and then some more in there. If this is actually our life, that is insane because that's 3k life without any gear, which is kind of dumb, but we'll take it. Why not take Polytheist first and then respect to Architects? Mostly because of the cost to go Polytheist, right? Architects offers Impure Blood early on. This is going to be my first ascendancy, and that is going to be very strong because this allows me to reserve my full life. So by reserving my full mana, I'm going to have Purity of Elements, I'm going to have Determination, I'm going to have Flesh and Stone, and I'm still going to have Vitality. Low level Vitality, but Vitality nevertheless, and I still will be fine to cast my Absolution. That is what Architect of Chaos is providing for me early. Whereas with Polytheist, what can we get early that will help us a lot? Let's see. Max AD. Regen is a lot, but spell skills deal no damage. Your spells are disabled, we can't do that because Absolution is a spell. Min charges could be really strong. Min endurance charge especially, but we plan on having a striker mercenary, so that's endurance charge. Striker is already going to be our source of endurance charges. And when he's dead, whenever he's dead, we just don't have that. He'll also be a source of decoy totems, hopefully. It's kind of the plan. Yeah, Mercs. Then our second ascendancy is going to be Forbidden Secrets. By the way, I can hear your fan.
Oh shit, my bad.
So then we're going for Forbidden Secrets second, which should be Act 8 to 10. Act 8 to 10, honestly, I think we just do exactly what we've been doing all this time. Oh shit, wait. Is Golem here? Golem should be here, right? Okay, okay, I already made that change. What changed for me here? Why did I care for... We took Wrath, Flesh and Stone, and Chaos Golem. We have no intention of going any offensive auras because of how rip it's going to be. If anything, we kind of want a bit more in the way of Golem effect. So what we're going to do, honestly, is we are going to switch. This is how we path, right? We don't need this until Act 8. Because of that, we're not going to do this. We're going to do... Wait. Can I undo it? Yes, I can. 74. 74. We're going to do it that way. So that by Act 8, again, do the same thing. By Act 8, we have Forbidden Secrets. I think we're going to Act 9. Yeah. And then by Act 9, we have Forbidden Secrets. Again, take this off. Go here. This is important because now we can take these 3 nodes. And this allows us to have Stone Golem. This should have been Chaos Golem. But Chaos Golem, Stone Golem, and Feeding, and where the fuck are zombies? Why are my zombies not here? Huh. Did I drop zombies? I don't believe I did. And if anything, I'd rather have zombies than have specters. But we're going for Chaos Golem here as well as Stone Golem. These will be our 2 golems of choice. We don't need a specter anymore if we were using one. If anything, I'd rather just not even have a specter to begin with. But this, and I would like a zombie as well. But zombies would be annoying because they would be... Puppeteer, no good for early. I can look at Puppeteer real quick. Let's see. What does Puppeteer have? Puppeteer early can get... This is not great defensively. This would be the best thing defensively for Puppeteer. Gain 20% of life as extra ES would be really, really strong, actually. This is a very, very strong node that you can just take as your one-off and just coast through campaign. But past marination, you don't have much else for a non... I guess not much else, but this would be the peak of Puppeteer's defensive powers. Like this would 100% beat Architect of Chaos. I don't know what gold costs look like to replace ascendancies. Replace at Merc/Uberlab. The problem is you would need to either have the Orbs of Regrets to take off your ascendancy for second at second Izaro, or you get to second Izaro and then you go spend gold at Faustus to respec your ascendancy. It's pretty cheap because I think I want to be I am going to want to gamble for items because that is how you get some pretty decent items early on. You can get some really nice res items. You can get some like really early chaos res rings, stuff like that. So I don't know that I want to spend my gold there, but it is something to consider because 20% life as ES is nothing to sneeze at. That would be worth dropping something for. Baseline campaign respec might also be enough. Gauntlet is scary early. Yeah, this Gauntlet is going to be spicy mostly because we have to deal with pen early. Level 1 to 5 has pen and multi-proj. The multi-proj scares me the most because of the phase projectiles from Act 4 giants. This would be very problematic with them. Other than them, I mean, Acts 1 Fire Eaters would also be a fucking pain in the ass with these guys. So many people are going to die in this second zone is going to be wild. Like, this is going to be the ender of people. Act 1. And then I think this becomes a lot more chill until Marvel and those sword guys from, I guess, fireballs can be problematic if you're next to walls, but just if you avoid walls, you're fine. Those sword throwers from ship graveyard can also be somewhat problematic with this, but overall, I think it should be fine. But like at Act 1, you don't have access to ascendancy. Same with Acts until Act 4. I don't know if I would do ascendancy at Act 3 because that's asking for Izaro to send you back, because this plus Izaro's green projectiles means you just might be in for a rough time. But then from I assume this is Act 5. From Act 5 onwards, we're going to have to deal with Fizz's extra chaos. We don't have to deal with Pen anymore, so that's good, but Fizz's extra chaos is going to be problematic. But once we hit Act 8 and we switch to and we have Architect of Chaos, we're going to have 20% max res, including Chaos. Or not 20%, 5% max res coming from our ES. But it's not going to be 100% uptime, so it's not going to be, but it's going to be like 80% uptime or something. At least it's just from Fizz. Yes, I would say that, but where I died last Gauntlets, I still remember it very clearly. It was Act 8. And you know who sent me back? That was Dodri. Dodri in the sewers. Because she has a ton of Fizz. She has projectiles to shoot. And she had... so I ate a bunch of Fizz and Chaos. This one, happily, there is no extra proj. But Kitava will have extra proj. Kitava having extra proj is going to be something as well, because this has also killed me in a past Gauntlet. So I remember it clearly. So phase mitigation is going to be so important. Having a source of endurance charges would be giga. I think just having Enduring Cry might even be worth it. Let me just make sure I can have Enduring Cry by Act 5. I think I can, right? Siosa should have Enduring Cry. So when I get to a boss, I can, yeah. Okay, so Kitava, I'm going to have Enduring Cry for just to make sure I have those endurance charges. We cannot afford for those to drop off in Kitava's fight, because the phase damage we will take otherwise will be very spicy. All right, let's see. Should we consider going Puppeteer first for the ES? What does that respec path look like? Would be the question. We have life as extra ES and we are going to be stacking a whole bunch of life, so it just works, but then we have to drop something in return, and that something would have to be vitality. I think without vitality I should still be able to cast my spells, but then mana regen becomes an issue. Currently I don't have any mana regen, so I would have to pick. And if I pick Eldritch Battery earlier, that defeats the purpose of going life as extra ES, unless I go Mind Over Matter, which again defeats the purpose of Eldritch Battery. So how are we gonna do this? That is a good question. You even have some int/ES%. Yeah, yes I do. So that would make the ES from Puppeteer very strong. It's 100% worth considering, but we would have to fix mana regen. I guess if we go this instead of here, it would nerf our early game, but it will help it's probably all we need to get going. A decent amount of mana regen, like a pretty healthy amount of mana regen. Like this will solve all mana issues from like Act 1. We wouldn't even need clarity all that much anymore, but we would have less damage. Does anyone have a reference to like what it looks like gold wise respecting ascendancies in Act 8? Has anyone here done it before? Because I would like to, but I also just have the mindset of gambling. I want to get decent items that have chaos res early on, because early res shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's see, what did you send me? Respect with gold costs per level. So let's see. So this is respect gold per point, and it starts jumping a lot. Like we're at 500 in the 60s. By Act 8, this is a gauntlet. We're going to be over leveled. I don't know if we're going to be level 60, but we might be in the mid to high 50s. So if we're looking at like 300 and something for a point, ascendancies typically count as what, 5 of these. So let's just say 55. So it'll be 376 times 5, which is 1,880 per ascendancy point. And because we're in Act 8, we only have 2, so that would be 3,760 for the full ascendancy. If it's 3,760, that's very, very doable. That's very doable, actually. And then we get a free big ES shield for it. It is worth it. It is worth checking out. So what we're going to do is go to Act 4. New, better still, delete, copy, paste, copy, paste. Remove that. Remove that. Puppeteer. Marination. Check notes. All right. And my dude. To be tankier during the early campaign. No, after First Ascendancy. Ascend as Puppeteer. And take the Marination node for life as extra ES. Then switch back to Architect of Chaos when in Act 8 before second lab. By running Act 3 lab again with gold respect ascendancy nodes. All right. Drop if going Puppeteer, drop Vitality Aura. I wonder if there's any chance to actually get the 1 Val Soul per second room grafting Gauntlet. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get that, but you don't get access to metals until endgame. So you can't actually send shipments unless you like you're using farmers. Like that is the only way you would get things to ship. I don't have one on SSF this league, even with two level 100s. Wait, you did SSF this league? You have a level 100 SSF character, and you didn't get the 1 Val Soul rune graft? What is the name of that rune graft? Did I get it? Is a question. Solwick. You know what would tell me what if I got it or not? I'll check Faustus. If Faustus is... If it's expensive on Faustus, then I didn't get it because I didn't sell it. I don't think I did, at least. Hello. If it's cheap on Faustus, then it's possible I have it already. It's not in there. Not in there. And keep in mind, 15 minutes. Oh, it runs for 4 minutes. I got a journey tattoo for the first time this league, so you can imagine how many shipments I did send. It's 12C. I may have sold one. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. All right. Copy. We'll copy Act 1. The puppeteer route is literally going to be the exact same thing, except now we're going this way instead, which would give us slightly more life to work with. But with all this mana regen, it should be doable to get it should be doable to drop clarity, drop vitality, have enough mana regen to deal with everything else. Because I can just imagine how much life, because like by the time we actually ascend in Act 4, this is what our tree looks like. We already have 105% increased life coming from the tree. We have a lot of life. If we then get 20% of this as extra ES, then as a baseline, we have 380 ES, which then gets scaled by increased ES. But not only that, we also have we might also be using some ES gear here, some hybrid gear there. Before you know it, we're at like 700 plus 1400 life. Pretty comfortable. Thank you for the suggestion. Got like 4 fortress tattoos. Isn't that the increased defense less attribute node? Did I get fortress? I think I did. I don't know how many I got, but I think I did. All right. Now for Act 9. How are we going to deal with Act 9? We've selected this. Let's compare it to Act 8 and see everything we've changed. So we took our 4 masteries. Now that we have access to them, we are getting to Act 10 Kitava. We are going to be spending so much time on each pack because like there is no damage on this tree. There is nothing. Like aside these ones and these ones, and I guess here, that's it. That's all the damage. There's no more damage to be found. But on the bright side, we do plan on getting some effect for golems, which means chaos rare should be at least a bit more decent. All right, I think that's fine for Act 9, if I'm being very honest. Let's go Act 10. We delete Act 9 old. Redemption might be worth 4 points just for DPS. Redemption is this guy, right? I plan on going redemption. The thing is, here's the actual thing. If I could have gotten redemption earlier, 100%. But all the defensive requirements we're trying to hit on the tree, like there's some things we can't do without. We can't do without this because we're trying to fit purity of elements, purity of determination, and purity of elements, determ. And what's the last guy again? Flesh and stone, those 3. Eldritch Battery, I feel, will get you killed early. I don't go Eldritch Battery until Act 8. This is when we go Eldritch Battery. Act 7? Should be Act 8. It should be Act 8 we get Eldritch Battery. Let's compare it to Act 8 and let's remove Eldritch Battery. And let's just get some of these. CB immunity. This is 6 points. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll walk you through my thought process. Eldritch Battery is really good on Architect of Chaos because where is it? Because we're going to be going Forbidden Secrets, and Forbidden Secrets gives us max res when ES fills up. If it's protecting our life, then when we take damage, it's going to stop charging, and just off of that alone, we are we're going to be hurt. You know, we're going to go from 80% max res to 75, and that's not ideal. So we're going Forbidden Secrets so that we can have the max res, which is why we need Eldritch Battery. But Eldritch Battery also comes with the added perk of being able to use Golem Commander. We go for Golem Commander because that allows us to get a bit more chaos res coming from our Chaos Golem. It allows us to get a bit more regen coming from Stone Golem, stuff like that. So that is why I can justify Eldritch Battery. But yes, you are correct that it's a lot of points. Well, that's why I just changed it from Act 7, so we don't go there, but Act 8 can go there because then we have the +5 max res that we want to have. We have Golem increasing, you know, stuff like that. Without Architect of Chaos, we can't go Eldritch Battery, and there's no point in going Eldritch Battery because if we went the Architect of Chaos route, then we would have gone Impure Blood first, which would make skills cost life. So we don't even care about Eldritch Battery other than for this purpose of Forbidden Secrets. That is really the only purpose Eldritch Battery has, is this guy. So in reality, we can even prioritize Golem Commander before Eldritch Battery simply because until we get our second ascendancy, we don't need to touch Eldritch Battery. We would like to set up so when we get it, we're in a spot where we can capitalize on it, but there is no immediate pressing. There's nothing immediately pressing about it. That being said, this is our tree. Act 10 and Act 9 have no differences, right? Yeah, so what am I going to add? We might have to add this wheel so that our max res has better uptime. Probably will have to add that wheel, to be honest. That's 5 points. That should be all. Or we can choose to go more damage, of course. Now that's 10 points. No, that's 9 points. This is just in case we end up leveling to level 77 during campaign. I don't know why we would spend this much time, but in case, we have all the acts ready. Complete with a lot of life in there. All right, I think I'm fine with this leveling path. Honestly, gear wise as well, I think it's very achievable. You can path through the right. Do you mean like here? This is how I pathed before, but because of Golem Commander that I pathed here. It's the same amount of points. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 to get here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to get here. Same number of points, but the difference is we get Golem Commander this way. That's why we're going from the top, because we already have this selected, so it's literally just 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then this is the 4th point for either or. this is what PoB was recommending. That's how I knew it was the same amount of points. You know, we don't spend a point more getting to Eldritch Battery, and we can pick up this wheel. Whereas if we went this way, maybe we'd get minion defenses, but that's about it. Wicked Ward, EB, Mind Over Matter. Wicked Ward, Eldritch is not interrupted by damage if recharge become this, less recharge rates. I don't. Wicked Ward and EB is just literally taking a knife to your energy shield recharge rates, because this is 40% less, this is 50% less. So you would effectively have 0.5 times 0.6. You'd have effectively have 30% of your initial recharge rate, which is 20% of your ES times 0.2. You'd be regenerating about 6% of your ES every second, so it would take you 10 seconds to get to 60% ES. So you would definitely like flat regen coming from like crafted sources and stuff like that, and that's all stuff you would get during the end game. You scale speed with gear and tree. We can't rely on gear for scaling speed early on. I don't think we can. And tree, like these would help, but don't forget this is a less recharge rate. So no matter where you're getting your source of recharge, it's recharge rate from, it's not improving as much as it would have been without those two. So it takes quite a bit of investment into recharge rates to then get it to the point where every 4 seconds you are filling up your ES, which is the requirements for Everlasting Sacrifice. In every 4 seconds you need to fill your ES, which is why these points are important to get. Because with these points, you know you're filling up your ES even with Eldritch Battery's less recharge rate. Arcane Focus plus Essence Search plus Dose felt good. Arcane Focus? That's this guy? No. What is Arcane Focus on it? What's that?
You said you called me.
No. Someone. I think it's an email you know. Arcane Focus. This guy.
Oh, never mind.
Lol. Arcane Focus is 10% faster start of ES recharge. It's max ES. This doesn't help our recharge rate. This helps it to start charging faster, which, I mean, that helps if you're going Mind Over Matter on top of everything. Which, by the way, Mind Over Matter would also gimp the now gimped ES recharge rate. Overall, I think you'd have very, very bad uptime on Everlasting Sacrifice. What is Essence Surge though? This guy? Faster start. This helps with just Eldritch Battery, but not necessarily with Wicked Ward, because it's a lot of less recharge rates. Like basically, if you take these two, if you take Wicked Ward and EB, you're essentially saying you cannot go recharge and you now want to go ES regen. So like something like Inquisitor could do it really well with Conk Ground. Who has really good regen? Do you have regen? Occultist probably can do it without Bastion because that's regen and stuff like that, but you would need ES regen and not recharge. You need block to get to full every 4 seconds with damage. Yeah, but here's the thing. Sometime like I would rather not deal with that, because that would mean that sometimes my 5 max res is not there. You know, that's kind of my thought process now. I'm trying to have as much uptime as possible, which is why I'm willing to spend points getting this. Mind over matter is big. I don't doubt that. Like, I would love mind over matter, but instead of taking damage on 400 ES, I'd rather just have 5 max res. Losing 1k plus ES hurts. I'm not losing 1k plus ES unless I'm going Puppeteer. I don't plan on going Puppeteer. I'm going Architect of Chaos, and with Architect, I don't really have ES scaling unless I go, what is the name of this node? Glimpse Chaos. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, if I get ES bases, then sure, I'll have a decent amount of ES, and that goes poof. But at the same time, at that point, I might as well just ignore Eldritch Battery altogether, and I might as well just leave it on my life, because I'm already spending life. I don't need Eldritch Battery. I just leave it on my life and I focus on getting it to just start charging quicker. Then Wicked Ward makes sense, because I am not going Eldritch Battery. I'm just going Wicked Ward so it doesn't stop recharging. It has less recharge rate, which is fine, and I skilled that. Like, at that point, that's what I would do if I really wanted ES to protect my life still. But it's a bit of an investment. That's, I mean, I'm not against the investment. It's just right now we have a lot of points going elsewhere. If we were to drop Eldritch Battery for Wicked Ward, it means we have to make sure we are actually getting a decent amount of ES from our gear. And we are looking for a lot of blue gems, so it's not that hard. It's not that, you know, it's feasible to get that much ES. It really is feasible. But at the same time, we also need to worry about physical damage and armor, because one modifier we plan on getting eventually is we plan on going for, if we make it to the end game, which, I mean, we'll see if I make it to the end game, but if we do, then I plan on going the armor while soul gain prevention nodes, which is a lot of armor, which would also multiply determination's armor by quite a bit, or increase what I'm getting from determination essentially. And then we just scale a bunch of armor on the tree. It will take a bit of a respec, but because we don't get that until end game, I'm not planning around having it. My big goal is getting to end game, and if I can get past end game, then we can potentially work into fitting more armor on the build, stuff like that. But until then, we're going to work like we're not. Patch notes? What patch notes? Is it for tomorrow? You must be really happy with yourself. You must be really happy with yourself.
They said they'd make it data mine unfriendly. I don't know if you knew that.
I know that. I know they mentioned this. So that was quite a patch notes. Like, that's, I don't know what we're going to do with that much information, but I mean, that's how much information we just got. Is CB immunity the best thing we can have here? Let me just make sure. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Early CB immunity is always nice to have. And because we have 5 max auras, this being, I guess we should also take this, right? Max lightning res. This is plus 3 auras, so we'd be at 83% res, and then eventually we'd want to get this guy. Eventually we want to get this guy, so would that be 4 max auras? So that would put us at 84 without any investment, which is actually quite a lot of ES. Not losing res is good if you want to farm mercs for gear. That is true, but I think I'm going to avoid mercs unless it's a merc I can actively hire. Like, genuinely, they are scary. Like, they will send you home for free. So unless there's a really good reason why I'm touching the merc, I am not touching those mercs. Max for aura mastery.
4K FE.
That's how where you ended up.
Yeah.
That's your upgrade, right?
Well, depends on how you look at it, I guess.
What are you thinking of, like if you remove money for investing back into the strats that you're talking about?
Like it's an upgrade, but like it's also just lost damage. Like
It's
it's
still an
both.
upgrade. It's an upgrade.
It's technically an upgrade, yeah.
It's huge QL upgrade. You're spending 3k FE on it. That's an upgrade.
You are right. You are right.
Level 1 vitality. Level 1 vitality on life to do that. Then we can get to 85. Hmm. I'm not opposed to it, but it probably have to be a level 1 clarity. And I think we already have like enough sockets pressure, because I think we have most of our sockets. I don't know why we have this. I also just don't see a universe where we change what we're currently doing for Act 5 to 7 here. Like, it's pretty much going to be the same. Instead of specters, where do we get... Like, instead of specter, we should use something else, because these specters will die. Carnage chieftains, they'll die. Like, the pen is no joke. The Phaser's extra chaos is no joke. I feel like they would die. I could be wrong, but I don't see them living. I don't. In any case, I think this is a decent enough POB. Let's remove this. Remove this. Copy, paste. Determination. Determ. Flesh and stone. Wrath can take a hike. It's not needed. So this is 3 auras. Vitality. Chaos Golem, we've already slapped it in here. That's fine.
Yeah, it feels so weird.
What does?
Okay, so it attacks when I stop attacking. You know what that technically feels like?
Why?
Wait, what?
When you stop attacking, so your trigger is your other movement attack.
Yeah, whenever I stop using my movement skill, basically. So I'm moving around with the movement skill, and every time I stop, it attacks pretty much instantly. But like, it does feel a little bit weird compared to Sentry, right? Because it's like it's got a no. They both had conditions, but this feels a bit different.
Hello. All right, give me a quick second.
Feels like a flicker.
All right, I am back. Where were we? One thing I would rather have than not, but I can't fit it here, is block. I would ideally like to have some block in here. I can't think of any point that's wasted enough to not to, like, you know, remove a block. Because market is very important. This is also a source of +1 if I were to go that route. We need all the sources of life. Let me just look at the Act 10. And let's delete the old Act 10 tree, shall we? All right. There really is no wasted node. This is very important for duration for Absolution alongside AoE. This is like the most redundant node, but it's also not redundant because it also has life mastery, which is important. Coming all the way down here, pick up max res, CB immunity. I think this is fine. I think it's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this Ascendancy Order. New first ascendancy. Copy. Second. First ascendancy should be alternates, convert just this guy. Impure blood. Second, still alternates. Impure blood, forbidden secrets. Copy, paste, copy. Third. When do they lose extra purge? My guess is after Kitava. After Act 5 Kitava, they lose extra purge. So from Act 6 onwards, they lose extra purge, but then they get Fizz as extra chaos. So Act 8 Dodru will have Fizz as extra chaos, but no extra purge. So she's going to hurt. Yeah, so it might be a case of we get block early and then try to respec from block. Because extra purge really loves block. Copy. First ascend. Puppeteer. Puppeteer route. If you do this and you want to go puppeteer, then you do this guy. And then you do marination. And then finally, fourth ascendancy. Which would be +3 all Val. All right. Now we just literally take it to Act 1. Act 1. Save. Just to confirm though, this has our same 4 auras, curse, yada yada yada. All right, I think this is fine. And by here we should have a trigger, so these can be in our weapon. Trigger craft, I should say. If we make it that far, of course. No telling if we will or not. All right, export, generates, copy. I'm gonna send it to Twitch and I'm gonna send it to YouTube so everyone has access to it. This is probably going to be what I run this gauntlet. I think I'm very happy with how it turned out. I do think I will end up going the puppeteer route. You're going puppeteer, drop vitality aura, and take the starter nodes shown in Act 1 puppeteer route 3. Just fleshing out that note a bit more. I would likely do the puppeteer start because I think it has promise, and having all that ES early on would be very, very comfy. But there's also nothing wrong with Architect of Chaos because you have more regen coming from vitality. You can reserve your mana fully. You don't have to worry about life or about mana cost because life is chilling. You have a bit more damage to kill things because, you know, it's Absolution. You need to kill the thing first, so this would help you a lot. We don't actually get to go spiritual aid, sadly, even though I would very much like to get spiritual aid. Let me add this to my spreadsheet, shall we? Gauntlet, Absolution. Centered. Centered. And then let's post this link, shall we? Only the leveling matters. I don't think I'm going to make a video on it, but all right, it's on the sheet, and then we're going to take this code and reply a comment that's actually asked for it specifically. Let's go. And then once that is done, unrelated, but tried syndicate operatives until like 95, and while they work, going the filers got me 5x DPS and better defensive layers instantly. It's absurd. I'll be very honest with you. I have tried syndicate operatives. Well, I tried them during Freesia, and I was not impressed at all. They are squishier. Base damage is kind of just lackluster. Even if you want to go like lightning convert, you're just better off doing it with literally rectifilers. There's only one instance. There's only one instance that I can think of where I actually would think like they can work over Reg Defiler, and it's not a case of they will be better. It's just a case of maybe it works, maybe not, but like it would have to be something along the lines of like I was thinking about this. You would have to go something like Energy Blade with Red Blade banner and then Warcry scaling. So you get you then scale ES. You try to scale your ES as much as possible. That gives you a lot of flats. That gives you a lot of flats lightning damage from Energy Blade, and then you use Warcry to give them the lightning, the flat lightning, and you scale Warcry effects so they can get basically almost as much flat lightning as you have, which is a lot. And maybe from there, you know, it could work. Maybe. Yeah, I was doing phase Warcry Merc, taking them from 2 mil to 15 mil. Yeah, but did you know if you do it yourself, it's a lot more effective. That's if you can stand to do it. But this is basically this is a line that people forget exists because minions. Yes, 2x. It's 2x effects with if you do it yourself, and you also have access to a bit more Warcry effect. Though I guess your mercenary also has access to just as much because you would give it gear that you probably wouldn't wear. But like, yeah. Well, you could actually just do AW self reflection at that point. That is correct. You are 100% correct. They're like 100%. You'd be much better off with AW self reflection. You would legit just have to want to play syndicate operatives for you to go this route. All right, we've replied the comments. Hopefully they see it in time because I didn't forget that. All right. Where is it? Which cry is it again? Rallying cry? Yeah, it has 100% more effect on your minions. This line. So whatever your Merc is able to give them, you can give them more. And if you go energy shield scaling and energy blade, then thumbs up. But at the same time, like there's no reason why you wouldn't just go AW or self-reflection, not have to deal with any of the Warcry BS, not have to deal with manually clicking that, and just have so much more damage. But hey, some people might fancy this step instead. I am not some people. I do not care to Warcry. I don't like the pauses that Warcry give, like that you have to do to Warcry. I think Warcries happen slow. I don't like base Warcry speed. So Warcry speed is a mandatory start for me, and I'm not even entirely sure if we'd have enough Warcry speed for it to feel halfway decent. So, and all that is like, those are points you could easily be spending on your minions to make them do more damage, but instead you're spending it traveling or getting, like it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. All right, that is all for Gauntlet prep. Now, the next question I have is, do I want to stream early Gauntlets? Like, do I want to be live when it first starts? When does it start? Does it say it's here time-wise? July 31st, 11 p.m. GMT. $20 hours. So 4 hours. It will start 4 hours ago tomorrow. So 3 hours from 8 o'clock. So 5 o'clock my time. Am I doing that correctly? I think so. Basically by 9 it's going to be 20 hours, so 9 minus 4. Yeah, it's 5. So it's 5 p.m. my time. So I can actually stream this live when it starts. So I'll just have to start my stream an hour early. So that is what we're going to be doing tomorrow, I think. That is what I think we're going to be doing. Hey, that's not as early as I thought. Arcane made it seem like it was in the afternoon. And just what other modifiers do I have to be aware of? There is this guy, then this guy, and once you're done with this is Act 2. So this is now white maps, which is just you lose the phase as extra chaos. So white maps are actually safer than white maps are safer than Act 1 through 10, which is kind of hilarious. But white maps, yellow maps, still safer than these guys mod wise at least. And then red maps, and then T17s. Oh no, 84 is pinnacle boss zones, not Ubers, but pinnacle boss zones. And this is T17s, and then these are Ubers. There are also surprises like Maven / Shaper and Axe, that kind of stuff. You know what I fully expect? I fully expect that since they are giving a Gauntlet glove, well, you need to get at least level 2. So you can just farm the beach and get your gloves and dip. All right. But since they are giving away these gloves, the initial condition for this was to kill Hillock, was what they initially said, right? So I fully expect Hillock will have a nasty surprise, kind of like Maven, this Gauntlet. But even worse than Maven, since that was initially the hurdle you had to surpass to get the gloves. Now that being said, the fact that they made this level 2 instead of Hillock makes me think they fucked Hillock up, and we are gonna be hard pressed to actually kill that fucker. That is genuinely what I think. I think we are going to struggle to kill Hillock because they've decided to Odigoro. They've decided that he needs to send people back to their hideouts. So that should be fun. The question now is, is it even worth clearing the zone leading up to Hillock? Is that worth it to get to level 2 before fighting him and risk losing mana flash charges and stuff like that? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Last overview. Make sure there's nothing that I forgot. Nothing that's missing. We scale duration a bit, but that's fine. Oh wait. Wait. Hold up. Going fever for corruption. Did we not want to scale the effect duration? We did, didn't we? We wanted all the effect duration we could find everywhere. So in a different universe, I guess this would also be useful. But that is not needed. Anyways, so by the time we ascend, this is what our tree is going to look like. It's going to be like this. So we already have 84% life. That goes to 105 pretty quick. We're going to save Oak. We're going to help Oak. So we get life. Because we need all the flat life we can get. So that's 70 flat life coming from our tree between this and Oak. Which is a lot of flat life, mind you. That is actually a lot of flat life to just get from the tree. If we were to double down and get Constitution, that'd have actually been very, very nice. But that's way too many points. Or getting life from here again. Also too many points. Seeing as we come out from here. Would have been nice. 20 points. I think Ancestral Commander is going to be free. Not free, it's going to be the most competitive ladder for any ascendancy, but ascendancies like Puppeteer, ascendancies like Architect of Chaos, like Herald, stuff like Herald, this is going to be free to place on the ladder with, because no one's going to be playing this shit. So there is a universe where I go Herald go. Thing is, like, Herald is just rough because you're going to need some uniques to make Herald of Agony work, and that just wouldn't work. So realistically, if you go Herald, you're opting in for Herald of Purity. You would have to go Herald of Purity for Herald, essentially, which is fine, but you're also going to have to do you have no auras, so defensively you might struggle. You'd have to use like Arctic Armor, Tempest Shield, stuff like that, which, I mean, it's not bad, but it could be better. You do get some pretty decent PDR early on, and I guess you could just tap your Chaos Res for free, so Fizz's extra Chaos just bounces off you. So you know what, you have your perks, 100%. Yeah, you def have your strengths. Getting 75 Chaos Res early is huge. Can you imagine? Wait, you know, I just thought about something. Can you actually imagine a non-SSF Gauntlet? Not Gauntlet, Prisha anymore? Because isn't there a Dark Monarch for Purity of Elements? For Herald of Purity, rather. Yeah, there is. So with that guy, if you were to go Herald, you have +2 to your max. Baseline, you have 4 max Sentinels of Purity. So that gets you to 6. And then with Dark Monarch, that's 12. If Prisha ever comes back as a large scale event, I will genuinely be running this. And honestly, you can run this SSF as well because Dark Monarch is easy to farm ish. To get to the level where you're farming Dark Monarch in a non-Gauntlet environment, you can actually do it relatively chill and then just go from there. That would be so nice. Versus, I mean, right now we have what, max of 8. Are there any sources of max purity minions that are not, Prisha ascendancies? I don't think there is, right? This is true, but if you just Giga Farm Dark Monarch SSF, which I guess you'd have to be running T16s to get enough of the Theater of Lies to then get the tickets to then get, that would take a while. But it's doable. Like Dark Monarch is doable SSF. You need divines to reroll. Can you divine it into other versions? Does it say what divining it does? Oh shit, it does. You can. Oh. What are sources of max Herald of Purity? I think that's the only source. It's just ascendancy. It's just hopefully they release other sources. Increase mana reservation of PDR, phase 1 people like this. Sentinels of Purity, buff effect. That's it. Then this guy has the same thing. It would be so nice to have a Herald of Purity build. I think because it's a minion I haven't played around with much. So it would actually be nice to mess around with it in the context of having 12 Herald, like Sentinels of Purity. Just having 8 doesn't seem like it's worth giving up on your other minions is the one thing I will say. Having 8 is like, okay, that's cute. But having 12, now we're talking. If we could get 8 without giving up on other minions, then sure. Okay, so now I know a build I want to try if we ever get public Freesha. That's the build I'm gonna try. Now, aside public Freesha, I guess there's also this guy you could potentially do. You could potentially use Centers of Dominance as well. Yeah, I don't care about any of the others. Maybe golems. I might try golems next league. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. None of the other ones quite entice me as much. Maybe Phantasms. But I hear Phantasms have like rough scaling paths like early on. Why do people use Soul Rest for Phantasms? I know it has flat damage from there, which is huge. But is it because of level 25? Phantasms aren't elemental, so it's sadly just for half of them. The gem inside is still 20 or 21. Oh, you mean the level 25 is only for half of your phantasms? Not for all of them? Wait, really? That seems a bit counterproductive. Wait, so where is the max? The max number of phantasms that can be summoned is normally 12. This maybe is from summon phantasm support for a max of 22 with a level 21 gem. This can be doubled to 44 with Dark Monarch at the cost of giving up all your other minions. The ones it makes are 25, but the real ones are 21 at best. So wait, how do current summon phantasm builds work? It has my build brain ticking at this point. So let's see. PoE summon phantasm 3.25, 20.26. Theory building, so he never actually put it down, like he never actually made it. Because I'm thinking if we can get 44 of them, wait, huh? Oh, like why the fuck did I close it? What's wrong with me? If we can get up to 44 phantasms, that might be insane with Necromancer just because of how many hits you're getting every second. Not to mention this is a soul rest. There's no way we can get this a bit higher, but we can't give them a bunch of flat on the tree with like adorned and shit. We do have to consume corpses consistently, and because we're using soul rest, that might be hard. So how can we trigger? How can we trigger this? Cyclone, cast when crit, offering, desecrate. Cast while channeling, rather. Cast while channeling. So did nobody actually make a summon phantasm build? Do I have a build to play once I'm done with my meme? Hybrid triggered summon phantasm necromancer?
Fala aí, pessoal, que é o Digão C.
Is this using Dark Monarch? I didn't see. Yeah, it is. Okay. You would need to scale a lot of duration. Oh, you don't actually, because this you summon multiple. If I'm going to be casting offerings, I might as well have the triple offering thing. I might as well go for a triple offering if I'm going to be cast while channeling. They do the belt he has and the chest. Queen's Hunger and Corrupted Soul, which is life as extra ES, right? But then half of damage goes through ES, something like that. So wait. Why does this matter? Trigger level 20 bone offering, flesh offering, spirit offering. Offerings triggered this way also affect you. %50 less. What is 50% less? Corrupted Soul. Oh yeah. I noticed. It's full effect, so you get Giga Block from it. So when it says trigger, it doesn't auto trigger, right? It requires you to do something. Like in his case, he auto triggers. So what is his cast? What is his cast while channeling? He's using Corpse Walk to get corpses instead of Desecrate. So why is he using Cyclone? What is Cyclone for? If he's automatically triggering corpses with this and automatically triggering offerings with this. Wait, every 5 seconds. Wait, doesn't that mean? Or the Phantasm maybe. So let me see if I'm understanding the playstyle properly. With Corpse Walker boots and the chest piece, you are going to always have corpses, and every 5 seconds is going to trigger all your offerings, right? All of them, not one, which means that you are going to be at max phantasms without doing anything. Every 5 seconds, it's one of your offerings. Okay, that makes sense. So it does it one offering. So if I can get my offerings to last 15 seconds, I don't need to do shit to keep uptime, is what I'm hearing. I can fully automate that. So all I have to do is walk. And it says auto trigger, so it doesn't need me to do anything. It's just doing it as long as you have corpses. So Corpse Walker, how good is Corpse Walker would be the question. For each nearby corpse, get move speed. For each nearby corpse, regen life. And then Corpse Walk. Corpse Walk will spawn corpses behind you, allowing you to use Cyclone in combination with General Cry offerings or Corpse Explosion skills like Detonate Dead. Fast forward and Desecrate is fine as well. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out how what does this look like? How often does it trigger? Stuff like that. And how many corpses? How its cast time is 1 second. What did I just click up? I didn't click anything. Corpse Walk spawns corpses while moving one by one on a time-based interval. It has a max of 12 corpses independent of other corpse generation skills. It spawns corpses with the same level as the area. So it's 1 by 1. So that means it has a cast time of 1 second. So every 1 second it brings one corpse. If I'm just walking through the map, that doesn't give me many corpses to explode. So Desecrate would still be better. Cast while channeling Desecrate would still be better. I like the idea of having Giga block coming from my offering. That is one thing. Like that's doesn't the Queen's Hunger also give? Oh, it does. It doesn't give blood offering, so it's only those three. I thought it gave blood offering. Okay, it only gives these two. So it gives regen, gives increased life. It does fuck all other asides that. But I guess what I could do in theory is, what POB is this? Okay, this is imported. Why would you go? Why would you go Mistress of Sacrifice and Queen's Hunger? Am I missing something? This just reduces the effect of offerings on you. So now if I'm understanding what I can do properly, I can do this. If I can fully, he has a max block anyhow. If I go for this chest, in my head, this chest is giving me max block because that is it. It's giving me max block. Then I would go on natural strength, bone barrier, and commander of darkness. Or alternatively, I go guardian with Radiant Crusade. Actually, no. Yeah, with Radiant Crusade, Unwavering Crusade, this and this, and I go aura stacking. Either or works, really. But I am inclined to go for natural strength because I think MV Merc is also pretty chill. Oh yeah, you are correct. It stops working because they are minions. I guess it would be Bastion of Hope in that case. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you remember if this works on triggered stuff? It does, right? It doesn't matter if you trigger or not. It still counts as you casting a spell recently. Or do you have to manually cast it? Because for attack, I mean, I can shield charge for attacks and that would work. Only the attack would count if I'm using the Cyclone. Because I know for minion skill recently, you have to use a minion skill. I don't think it works with trigger. So I think that would be the case. I might play around with phantasms conceptually. See how far I can push them. So let's say all I'm doing is walking with Corpse Walker and then the Queen's Hunger is doing its thing. I would be going for, don't offerings have, oh this is his cast watch and I found it. He still has bone offering desecrates. Honestly, if 1, 2, 3, I guess we could do this on his 6 link, but here's the problem with this. Actually, it doesn't matter. I think having this is fine, but I don't know why he's using Mistress of Sacrifice. Maybe for skill effect duration. I don't know. He's getting block here as well. Don't you just get more block by unticking this? Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Why? You could get more damage from this. Like, why? I really don't get it. And if you're consuming that many corpses, you might as well just have Platebringer. It's just more damage or reduced damage. Like, there's so many good options. You even have access to Essence Gluton, where you're just regening ES if you really want to have the, what was the belt he had? Corrupted Soul, life as extra ES. You might as well just go for the ES regen coming from Essence Gluton then. Like, there's so many better ascendancies than Mistress of Sacrifice. I don't get why it's Mistress of Sacrifice. But he said hybrid triggered, so I don't know where the hybrid is coming from. If he's actually scaling damage in a way that I don't know, but maybe he is. Ninja has way better builds. I mean, for just off of it, I just came here to see, like, to get an idea for what it looks like. So with Corpse Walker, if I can scale duration enough, I will always have at least one corpse. I came here to check something, right? It's 1 second per extra corpse consumed up to a max of, I think, I don't know how many corpses it can take. So I think no matter what I do, I can't escape Caswell channeling. Like, I don't think I can escape it. So what I'm going to do is, it would be Necromancer, it would be this, it would be this, and it would probably be Commander of Darkness. It's Fizz based, so, you know, Fizz is extra Chaos or Fizz is extra would still be kind of nice to have if I can have it, but it's not a no-brainer if I don't. You don't get multiple without, you know, it's still just one at once. You are correct. Without Leash of Oblation, right? You need the Queen's Hunger Leash combo if you want them affected by multiple. But if I can't escape Cast while channeling, why do I even care about Queen's Hunger at that point? If I wanted to automate it, then I'd go Queen's Hunger, Corpse Walker. But unless I wanted to automate it, in which case then that would make sense. But I would be giving up my chest slot, which is a very big defensive slot, and my boots, which again, I could get a lot of value out of. So Ninja, let's see, POE.ninja. Let's see what people are doing with this. Because like the moment I saw 44 summon phantasms, that piqued my interest. I'm just like, okay, where can we go? Where can we go with this? What the fuck? Ascendant? Why Ascendants? I am curious. Opening POB. What do you get from Ascendant? Guardian, which is reservation efficiency of skills, regen life over 1 second, and then some block. And then Path of the Templar. Then you also get Occultist with Curse. Cannot be stunned. And then you use the extra points you have. Wait, why would you go Path of the Templar? I guess because it grants 2 points, right? So that's 1 and 2. I was gonna say, why do you take Path of the Templar and not just go Templar? Like, can you not just do this 1, 2, 3, save yourself 1, 2, 3 points? I guess it's okay. Never mind. That is a no-brainer. But I guess what you could just literally take off this section if you so choose and just go from Templar. It's not the same for 3.26. Oh, I know. I'm done POBing my character for Frisia. I have the POB in chat and on my build sheet. Right now, I'm just basically thinking through an idea that not an idea, but a concept, a soul rest concept for base game. Basically, it's going to be soul rest. Why would you? I'm looking for people who took the helmet, okay? I I don't need people who don't have the helmets. I want to see people who went balls deep and went 44. So summon phantasms. That's what I want to see. Phantasmal dunk. Lol. All right, so we have easy chests, easy boots. One abyssal socket boots. Huh. He went armor ES, armor. Password channeling, cyclone, flesh offering, desecrates. Infused channeling, take less damage from hits, deal more damage. Deal more damage doesn't matter. Desecrate, and then convo. I wouldn't use convocation because I like that being manual, but it's not a bad idea. Worst case scenario. And then you go for a double of these. What special twist? Why would you go for? I guess for the attack speed. I mean, you do get move speed, right? With that, so I guess there are still perks for this guy with flesh offering with the move speed. Val haste as well. Molten shell. More ghastlies. Mans is stacking ghastlies. Oh, is he going poison? Does he have chance to poison? Wait, question. Don't you gimp your summon phantasms damage by not linking your staff if you're going to use the gems to double it? He has max block. How is he getting block? 10% chance to block 80 while doing that. Block. Max life per red. Max mana per blue. And he has green. Blue. 1 green, 2 greens. So 2 greens, 4 blues. So that gives him a lot of max mana. Does he have flat reservations? Why does he care about max mana? He's going poison. So he has 13%, 15%. 11, 10, and then probably one more, 11. Runegraft is level of all non-exceptional support gems. I don't think you would go for the increased damage because you wouldn't care about the damage you're dealing, right? Recover ES and life on block just for free. I know this was a staff matchup, but that's kind of cool. A whole lot of block more there, some extra block here, some extra block here. I like the block investment, but like that's a lot of investment, yo. But I assume he's doing this for the movement speed coming from flesh offering. He's also flesh and flaming plaguebringer. Like I would rather have plaguebringer than have missions of sacrifice unless I'm using it for bone offering, but they don't need bone offering because they have recover life on minion death. They should also have blessed rebirths. Yeah, this is probably a very decent setup for a poison take. That being said, doesn't he like have way too much poison scaling because he has darkness enthroned? So this is like maybe let's say this is giving him like 28. This is giving him like 24. That's already 52%. Then the rest need to cover 50%, which you can make from 15, 15, 15, 5. So I guess he does need 4. 1, 2, 3. Does he have enough? I heard from he has too much, or does he have enough? 11, 10, that's 21. 31. Yeah, he doesn't have enough. He's 96. He's at 96. He's undercapped. Because of how bad his rolls are, he didn't get to cap. If he literally just got like 2% extra here, 2% extra there, he's capped. He doesn't have the gem. So the gem will be overkill considering it is, what is that, 20%? You know what I would like to do? The gem is 40% rather. It's overkill. It's overkill. What I would like to do with this setup is, because they are 44, I would like to give them a shit ton of flats. This already, you know, gets ahead of that. It gives them a lot of flat fizz. But just giving them a bunch of like flat damage, given all 44, would be insane, I think. Also, like I said, I'm thinking not 6-linking your staff is kind of troll, because this support gem would not have the support gems, right? Like, he's gimping his damage by not having it linked for the support gem, since half of them are literally going to be from the support gem. Or is there like a mechanic I'm missing with this? Or maybe he doesn't know. They just get the supports, even if they're not linked. Interesting. Oh wait, is this because this summon phantasm is support? This summon phantasm is being summoned by the summon phantasm in the staff, and they take the properties of the minion that summons them, and in this case this minion that summons them already has the support gem, so they in turn inherit the support gems, because I think that is their behavior. Okay, so it's not troll then. All right, that is beautiful to know. Actually, why would you care about faster proj though? Is their proj really that slow? Like, I figure it's... Yeah, basically melee pro... Oh, you mean the distance it travels, right? Because yeah, everybody's running faster proj. Void manip. I feel like if you had to go soul rests, you cap your damage out. If you go poison, rather, you cap your damage out much sooner than you have to, which is what most people seem to be doing. But if you had to go like adorned with a whole bunch of flat phase, which then gets converted to chaos damage, kind of like we do with chains of command, wouldn't that work just fine? They don't get as much benefits, I guess they do already have a decent amount of flat fizz, right, coming from the staff. PoE soul rest. Let me see Reddit. They can't use fresh meat, right? Because realistically, if your cast while channeling desecrates, offering, desecrate, offering, desecrate, offering, desecrate, offering consistently, you're probably replacing maybe not all of them, because you should be replacing them all in an amount of time, especially if you scale duration. If you scale duration, that is. You might choose not to scale duration, but I think that's an option we have, right? Let me see what Ghazi did with... Where is the one that had YouTube? It's you. Okay, let me see what Ghazi planned on doing with soul rests.
TV here with another Path of Exile. One video this time is going to be a build guide video for the recently giga buffed soul rest staff. I'm kind of excited.
They just don't have a ton of DPS otherwise. Oh yeah. Queen's Hunger got that rework, didn't it? Katarina veiled and a veiled suffix. So you get to choose the one you want. There's chance to block AD, chance to whatever. Increased effect of offerings would be this, I think, simply because, I mean, you compare this if you pair this with a Leash of Oblation, that would honestly feel very comfy, because your flesh offering would then give you a whole bunch of movement speed, and that would feel so nice, I think. That paired with offering 20% offering effects, you would still use cast while channeling, and I think you would use 6 link. You use a 6 link so you can channel all 3, or you can get all 3. You can do leash plus 3 offerings on cast while channeling. Yes. What does the chest add? The chest would then add this, having it affect you baseline. So you then, instead of getting a % of the movement speed, you would get the full movement speed. And in this case, where is the offering? Oh yeah, this PoB doesn't. That would make Cyclone a lot more comfy. It would give you a head start when it comes to... Oh lol, it's actually here. I'm blind. Anyways, it would give you almost 30% move speed plus all the effects you're scaling, because now you can get 20% effect here, which is not a stat we can get and in many places. You also get 20% from one of these guys. This guy 20%, that's 40%. Suddenly, and if you get 21 flesh offering, please be 21. Yeah, it's 30% move speed. So then it becomes 30 times 1.4, which is 42% move speed by having the chests. That's a lot of move speed. You will still have to get an anoint though. You'd probably have to go for this anoint, hollow effigy, just so you'd probably go hollow effigy so you never have to worry about corpses, or otherwise you'd use desecrate. It casts once and then you can't cast the remaining offerings, which would be a problem. But with hollow effigy, you'd cast desecrate, cast the 3 offerings, then you cast desecrate again, then you actually no hollow effigy doesn't break it. With hollow effigy, your offerings do not require a corpse, but they can still consume corpses. So if there's a corpse there, it will consume it. If there isn't, it will still trigger. Because without Hollow Effigy, how does that work? You cast Desecrate, it casts Desecrate, then it casts an Offering, then it tries casting another Offering, and it can't do that. Tries casting the next. And keep in mind, I'm thinking about purely single target here, like Maven fights. I'm not thinking about like clear wise, because during clear it shouldn't be an issue, right? You cast the one Offering, it eats corpse. It doesn't. It can't cast the remaining two. Then it goes back to Desecrate. It casts that. I feel like it would just cast the first Offering again, because unlike the trigger wand, no, Offerings actually have base CD, do they not? They have CD. Doesn't this work in order so you always get them all? It works in order, but you wouldn't have the corpses to consume. Desecrate cast once, and then it's supposed to eat the remaining two. Like Desecrate, one Offering eats them, and then with the boots, yes, it would work with the boots, but the problem I'm having with justifying the boots is it says it's pooping out one corpse at a time. If it's doing one corpse at a time, your Offering duration is going to vary, right? Some will consume 5 corpses, some will consume 1, all of that. That's kind of fine. Let me see. This is Gazi's build, right? Wait, which build is this? No, this is the build this is the last build on Ninja we saw. Oh shit. If we get this, we can just use the Witch's Ascendancy and not have to worry about the belt, and that will let us go Mage Blood. That is something else we can consider. Should be at least 10 seconds with the 3 duration wheel you have. If we skip out on the witch ascendancy, that is us taking less duration, because like that ascendancy has some duration on it. And if we're going for Leash of Ablation and this, we probably don't want to take that, so we'd have to make up for that duration loss elsewhere. And I know on my chains of command setup, let me pull it up. Elemental chains of command, no, not you. Medium budget is the guy that had, yeah, you. If I say it hasn't consumed the corpse recently, and I go to Bone Offering, it is 9 seconds baseline, but I'm also taking Mistress of Sacrifice. If I were to drop this, that becomes 6-second duration, which is still fine-ish. I have to think about this. What does that mean, actually? It lasts 6 seconds, and the chest is also triggering. Do you know if we take this node, the chest will occasionally remove some of the offerings we want with, you know, some things it has, which might not be ideal. Keep in mind, also, this is probably not ideal at that point, because these guys don't have, oh wait, they don't have effects. That being said, I forgot to take into account the effects. So that 42% movement speed I mentioned, that is without effects. Do we have, no, we do not. Of course we don't. Sure, let's open this. I don't know whose POB that is, but let's just open it. Oh, this is Gazi's own. So Gazi isn't using. Gazi is relying on the chests. He uses Ancient Skull. I don't like that. I don't like Ancient Skull on a setup like this. The reason I don't like Ancient Skull is I mean, I plan to go in Dark Monarch, so like not an option, but it leaves. I guess it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He tried to go crits. I would be going crits. This is 19 mil DPS, which is not bad at all. Not bad. It's hard to scale, clearly, but it's not bad. This is also true. Dark Monarch was not there. You have a very good point. And of course, he also didn't know about these mods. So we have a Katarina Veiled and a regular Veiled. For Katarina Veiled, we either go off 2 offerings at the same time, in which case we don't have to go the belt and we're kind of free. Then we just try to make sure we have bone offering and flesh offering at all times for ourselves, which is fine. Alternatively, we could go the belt. We could do belts and chests with Corpse Walker, and then try to scale offering duration to 15 seconds. If we can hit the 15-second mark, then we can have all offerings up at the exact same time. Wait, you said every 5 seconds you only cast one offering, right? Okay, yes, it even says here. One of the following offerings is triggered in the following order. This. One or more corpses must come to grant the effect. The offering from this body must be supported by this empower. I can also support the offerings with more duration. That's one thing. I can put more duration in the chest piece, and that by default already just gives it a lot of duration. Like that makes it a lot easier to get to where I'm trying to go. So if I can get it to 15 seconds, and I'm consistently like dropping corpses with Corpse Walker or whatever, then that is fine. The question is, can I get that much duration without eating a corpse? And the answer is yes. Because like here it's 6 seconds. Actually, no. Here it's 6 seconds. It has this wheel and this wheel. Now, if I were to say more duration, that puts it up to 9 seconds. Then if I were to also go for the rune graph that says buffs last longer, yada yada yada, where's the buff guy? There, warp. Oh, that worked just to avoid college. Yes. If I do this, what does expiry slower mean? I think that means the duration, which is now a 9. I think it's multiplicative, right? So 9-second duration, 9.4. It should be the opposite of the way CDR works, right? Which would be 9.4 divided by 1 minus 0.7, which would 0.3 rather, which would be 0.7. Which is 13-second duration. So we need 2-second duration coming from somewhere. We would need 2 seconds of duration from somewhere. And that might just be coming from the boots, because literally, if we have 2 corpses to eat coming from Corpse Walker, then Bob's your uncle, you know? We also don't need Triad's Grip, so if at least 2 corpses are eaten, what do you know? We're at 15 seconds. Perma uptime on all 3. Actually, no. We can only have 2 with that. So we only need 10 seconds So we'd have bone offering, then flesh offering, which is the one we want. Then spirit offering comes in and slaps our bone offering aside, which makes us drop in block, and then we get bone offering 5 seconds later. That's not gonna feel good. We probably still use Leash of Oblation. We probably still use Leash of Oblation instead of this guy, and then just go offering skill, offering effects. That said, how much effect? 10%. So that's 50% effect. So we'd have 45% move speed coming from the belts. Having that much move speed is not bad, honestly. Like just 45% free. I don't mind it. So if we go offering effect, what can we go here? Attributes, which is fine. None of this. None of these. I guess we just have to go chance to avoid shock or just generic res. Like we're either getting res. There's nothing interesting coming from the veiled suffix. Legit nothing interesting coming from there. So we're giving up our biggest source of defense, i.e. chess piece, because we're not getting Giga ESBs or anything like that, so that we can then get infused channeling is 14% less damage taken and it's 300% uptime. I mean, yes, you make a point, but why channel when I can just run? You know? Real talk, I actually don't mind Kaswa channel. I don't mind it. I would really like Queen's Hunger because, I mean, I would really like Queen's Hunger because of the free offering affecting you. But if I'm going Kaswa channel and I'm going Leash of Oblation, I might as well just not even bother with Queen's Hunger. Just not so that it's actually good. Here's the thing that it provides that I really like, right? From an unbiased perspective, if I were going Leash of Oblation plus Queen's Hunger and, you know, Kaswa channeling setup, what it's actually providing for us is the ability to skip out on Mistress of Sacrifice and then going Plaguebringer. This is a lot of damage, and if we wanted to F and F anything, we could go Commander of Darkness. There's Essence Glue. There are a lot of options we have when it comes to consistently consuming corpses, and being able to get the full offering effect means we're getting movement speed. We're getting, I'd rather have a red chest, to be honest. I am also with you on the red chest because defensively we do get a lot of, like, you know, pure ES value, or, you know, whatever else. We can get a lot of value there. But it is something that's worth considering, basically. Because just baseline, right? We have 3 ascendancies taken. Non-negotiable, we're taking Bone Barrier, we're taking Unnatural Strength, and obviously we're taking Mindless Aggression. So then the question is, what else are we getting? Are we getting this? Are we getting this? Are we getting this? And I really like the idea of Plaguebringer if I'm going to be popping out corpses as much as it sounds like I will be. You don't have to get the Unholy Might. I would not use them as Fizz, and I don't want to use Triad's Grip. Triad's Grip sounds worse than Queen's Hunger to me. I don't want to use Triad's Grip. Like, this is just free conversion and it's Wither. Fizz Poison's fine, but you need the Wither. I would need to go Withering Touch in that case. Which I guess is fine. Honestly, even with this setup, I'd probably still go Withering Touch because Withering Touch is Fizz as extra chaos. Like, genuinely. Withering Touch is so much Fizz as extra chaos that if I genuinely just shove as much flat phase into the minion as I'm thinking of shoving, this should be giga for their damage. It's just 29% more of that phase as, you know, chaos. But at the same time, it's not needed. We don't need Withering Touch when we have that Ascendancy, and instead of 29% physics extra, we can now just go 40% more damage with an Awakening Gem. Do I think Queen's Hunger is the plays? Like, I'm still trying to decide if I want the automation or if I want to actively Cyclone, because I know myself. I love things that are automatic. That's just the truth. That is me. I embrace it. I love automation, and if I love automation, then having giga block, having giga movement speed, that just feels nice. That just seems like something I want, especially if I'm skipping out on Mage Blood. Ward loop offerings. Holy. Oh shit, he went Guardian with this, didn't he? This is Guardian. Yeah, this is Guardian. Okay, so anyways, because having 44 minions is insane. Like, just straight up 44? Like a whole screen full of minions? I mean, we have that effect with skeletons, but skeletons aren't automatic. And I guess these aren't because we're triggering it with eating corpses. Can you leap slam with war staves? You can, right? Please tell me you can. Oh, in that case, like, why not? Like, granted, you're right. I lose out on 14% less damage taken, and that is a substantial amount of less damage taken. But if I just pair the chest with the boot and I do all that duration scaling, I have the same effect. All I have to do is walk, and I'll have every offering. I'll have movement speed. I'll have attack speed for leap slam. I'd be traversing quicker. Things would be dying all around me. All I have to do is leap slam into a pack or convocate. Very mean body works. I mean, it does. It does. It does. Real talk though, like, I think what I would end up doing is I would actually try to POB something for this, and I will play around with. I have no idea how I would actively. How does Gazi simulate the soul rest's damage? By putting them in the weapon, is that enough? That's all you need? Oh shit, that's all you need? Shit, say less. Say fucking less. I'll do this. I thought like base phantasms I had to do a whole lot more tweaking and, you know, whatever, but wait a second. There is no count here. Why is there no count? Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was so confused. Like, is POB saying each one is doing this damage? Is it like, But that's assuming they're all 21, which is wrong. Yes. If they were 25, it's still, wait. Is it, are you sure it's assuming 21 or assuming 25? Because changing the level of this support is doing nothing. No, I know it's bugged in POB, but is it seen it as 21 in POB or is it seen as 25 in POB? It takes the level of the main skill, so it thinks everything is 25. Oh, it takes the level of the main skill, and because there's no main skill, it is not taking the level of this. Am I understanding that correctly? This is not included in full DPS and realistically can't be. Wait, but doesn't this mean that it's actually showing, it's assuming they're all level 25, not level 21? Because this is the main skill that is being, is, you know, it's 25. Is the triggered summon phantasm that is seen as the thing. Actually, it's easy to check. Let's actually just check this. What is the base fizz? The base fizz is 115 to 1673. POEDB. Summon phantasm. I guess summon phantasm. A level 20 has a minion level what? 40? That is weird, but okay. Yeah, that can't be right. This cannot be right. I have to assume it's using the required level like other things because there's no way this is right. Unless I'm looking at the wrong phantasm, of course. It could be this guy, in which case 40. Yeah, there is no fucking way. All right, let's check the same thing before. It is? That's why they have garbage DPS. God damn, man. What the fuck? Wait, but this says 1,000 base damage from skill. How is it getting 1,000 before added damage? Am I missing something? Config 214. Level scaling 214 to 321. And then so rest flat buff. So where is it? I mean, you count some of the configs, right? Where did Gazi get this? What does 25 have? Level 50. Two 69179. I feel like it's not right. I feel like it should be 70. This would be 617 to 925. Okay, so now that is a big jump, which is not what we have here. So wait, what is the actual base damage? Because like at this point, I don't fully understand. Where is POB getting 1,000 damage from? Yeah, but here's the thing I have issues with doing that. It is, the problem is, like, if I use someone's skeleton and I use someone's zombies, they are going to have different DPS numbers. I assume it's because of the base mods that show up. Doesn't have to be a minion. Okay. Let's see Fireball 21 first and foremost. $340 to $571. If I say level 20, $380 to $57. Did the lower end just go up or go down? No, it's $380 to $571. Just that's it. But this is Fireball. I'm looking for Fizz Proj. 695 to 1043. 695 1043. It's the same thing. The base damage isn't changing. I guess it's changing. Unless it's changes with the Phantasm. It changed with the Phantasm. Now it's 992 to 1488. It changed when I changed the Summon Phantasm's level. In which case it says 992 to 1488. Where is he getting this from is my question. When do we get to 992 1488? What is the required level for 25? 80. It's not that either. 992 14. It's actually level 78. Yeah. So where is he getting 78 from for a level 25? Did I put 24? Oh, I put 24. Okay. So we figured out that. Now, the next question would be, is PoB correct or wrong? Oh, the questions minion players have to ask themselves. So yeah, this is going to be level 80. Which is 1115 and 1673. Yeah, that's it. So it's using the required level for the gem to determine the base damage. This is a question I just have to ask Zurat at this point. I tend to find it's wrong when minions are involved far too often. There are many situations where it's wrong, but there are also some situations where it's been surprisingly correct. Like in many cases with minion life scaling, it's actually been correct. So I mean, it's hit or miss. Like it could be wrong, it could be correct, right? We actually don't fully know. But at the same time, here's the thing: if this level hit 95 on my Smite Chieftain, is around 4 million DPS. Congrats. Are you gonna switch it? Are you gonna use Doriani on that setup? If these levels are to be I guess believed, which by the way, remember there's a +1 to all support gem rune graft right now that we'd probably be using. Gem craft +1 to all non-exceptional. This guy is still a thing, so we'd probably be using this guy too. It won't work on 25, but it will work on the 21 because you said half of them are 25 and half of them are the gem. So if I can get my 21s to 22s, that should increase my DPS. And remember, half in this case is 22 freaking phantasms. That's a lot to get the +1 level. But the question now is that worth it versus just trying to fit like more flat phase? Because if their base damage is really that shite, like assuming, you know, the minion level is to be trusted and like the base damage looks like that, then it's 100% an adorned angle. Like 100%. Like if this is, what's this, 50? If this is 50 and this is the base damage we have to deal with, what? This is an adorned angle. This is a slap and adorned in, throw as much phase as we can and profit. I'll go under the assumption that both could be correct. I will ask the minion Discord and we will see if we get any answers. But I will be playing around more with this idea, and I think once I'm done with TLI, I'll go back to my meme AG build, my Infernal Legion AG, and when that is done, I will look at this guy, and we can probably achieve all of that before PoE2 by the end of next month. That is the plan. And if Soul Rest actually feels good, that might just end up being something to pursue next league too, because like the idea of having 44 phantasms all shooting projectiles all giving me instant leech makes me feel like I'd be next to Immortal on save one shots. And if I play around with that and having Giga block from offerings, having some really nice early game move speed with Leash of Oblations, and just generically scaling all of that, and that feels like a very smooth progression curve. Shit, well, it could be a league starter for all I know. But I mean, we'd have to actually see how well it performs. Odds are it's not a league starter. I hear it starts off very strong and then it falls off. I mean, all you need is 6 sockets. You don't need a 6 link, which is already really nice. And then if you're going to use cast while channeling early on and then eventually automate it like I would like to, you know, that's really nice. Early minions not in the cards for you. That's a very good point. Ellie's I always forget Ellie exists. I will be playing Last Epoch. I will 100% be giving it a try. I saw some of the new items. I know that they had that Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is kind of going to be what I would likely be trying to play around with. Start stacking Tyrannosaurus Rex. But we'll have to see just how good it performs, because like my problem with early minions, I mean, I have a few problems with early minions, but I don't like that they lag behind you. I really hate the fact that they are not aggressive enough. I hate that delay of I'm going to run into this pack and then my minions are going to run at me at Mach 10 speeds before they finally target and then engage. I don't like that. Like, y'all should be ahead of me when I'm about to get to an enemy. Like, go. go, you know? Like I don't want to be the one, like, you know. Ravens were good in that regard. Exactly. I never got Ravens from Falconer or Primalist. Like Storm Ravens or the Falconer one. What is this? Look at this Guardian. Eric, when you want to share POBs, you want to shorten it. So you want to generate, but instead of copying, you want to share this and then copy that instead of having a, yeah, exactly. All right, let's get this away. All right, where were we? POE Ninja. So this, you said I should check the Guardian zombie build. He's using Baron, zombie of slamming, multi-strike, rootless, melee fizz, empower, rational doctrine, efficient training. He went all the way around to here to get Ghost Reaver. Oh yeah, the helmet gives leech. I almost forgot the helmet that gives leech. Are zombies any good? Zombies are decent, but they don't perform well on a budget. That's my big problem with zombies. Like, they do base fizz, and fizz thanks to armor is just very ineffective until you get the size of each hit to be to the point where you're ignoring armor. But at that point, you're a good investment in, because minions are known for hitting fast, not hard. So it takes a bit of investment to get them to actually hit hard. They can scale, and they scale very nicely, but it can be a bit rough on the lower budget. That's like the only thing to keep in mind with zombies. Raise zombie or slamming. I'm just going to assume he has like 13, maybe 15 zombies. How much strength does he have? 1,000? Where is it? Am I blind? Yes, I am. Yeah, he has 2 extra zombies from the helmet. He doesn't have this guy, so actually he doesn't have 13. He has this guy, so that is +1. So let's see, he has baseline 8. He has baseline 8. 9. I assume helmet gives him 2, so that is 11. He doesn't get this guy, so he has 11 zombies. Does he have any other sources of max zombies? Amulets? So amulet gives him 4, right? Or is it 2? I forget. Does it give 4 or 2? Either way, it's like 11 plus 2 is 13. It gives 2. Okay, so it's 1 then double 2. All right. So that's 13 zombies. Default attack. This is not config, so this is I can't even POB the damage, but he isn't converting. So on the high end, it's probably decent. He is aura stacking though. What does he have on his shield? Purity of Ice, Pride, Determination. Does he have triple purities? Okay, so he's basically going zombie father. He's going a variation of zombie father's build. That is my understanding of what he's doing. All right. He's basically aura stacking and going all the way to here. That is true. He has no block. He has no block. He also has no movement speed going with Darkness Enthroned with Sapphire and Topaz. This is going to feel so to map with. Maybe he created this as a bosser, but like I wouldn't map with this. He has no movement speed. He has no Quicksilver, no movement speed suffix. Now granted, he's pretty good defensively, but no speed. Yeah, he's aura stacking. He's using zombie or slamming while trying to get as many auras as possible and using the Guardian to get Unwavering Crusade. Why the hell would you F and F and then just go for these two? These four. You really just like armor ES? Are you just trying to skill as much armor ES as possible? I guess ES is a thing. But why not just go Bastion of Hope? That's free block. That is genuinely free block. It's free block. You're skipping out on the damage reduction coming from Radiant Crusade as well. Why? Like going for this from like basically he just goes to Ascendancies and then he's just like, yeah, let's just get small nodes. Like all for 5% max ES, 5%, 5%, 5%. 5%, like it's not worth 20. Your Ascendancy points are worth more than 5% ES. Must have been a league starter. I have to assume there's something. I don't know if it's a league starter because a league starter would want as much power on a budget as possible. A league ender, that's like why? You could have gone Bastion, have had free block at the very least. That's a lot of block. This will carry you more than 5% ES ever will. Holy. He's going for extra golem and indomitable. I mean, and the weird thing is like he's invested so much into this build. Like so much. Why'd you invest all that and then just not go Bastion of Hope? You didn't go F and F for Unwavering Crusade. Of all the things to get to F and F. Like why not just do 1, 2? I mean, at that point, go Harmony of Purpose. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just F and F on Unwavering Crusade at that point. Why? I'm honestly trying to figure out the why, but like 5% is. Yeah, no. I say no. My Chieftain doesn't have much spell block. I mean, a Chieftain probably has other defensive layers. Like, you don't need block, but block is nice if you have access to it. You try to get some better gear, some more strength on your Chieftain. Brutus Lead Sprinkler Smite. And you said you're at 4 mil, right? So let's see. Yeah, you have no spell block. Did you go blood magic? No, you didn't. Are you going rage to solve your mana? Did you go the unique gloves? No. How is your mana situation? Oh, you have mana leech. Never mind. Okay, mana leech is enough. Why Wrath Pit? Sacrifice life, increase life, spell block. You do have spell block coming from here. Why does this not count towards your spell block? COE. Yeah, that is most definitely weird. What is COE? Craft of Exile? Tell me why the first thing I Crown of Eyes. Minus Fire. Yeah, Mana Leech. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he has Mana Leech. I noticed the Mana Leech on hits. But why is Wrath Pits... What are you? Your chieftain. Why would your shield not count? Oh, why? So it's getting 2% spell block? Or is that getting is that from somewhere else? All right, this is the easiest way for me to check. This is block. Why does this say 62 and 2% when this says 62 and 14%? My guy, what? Chest. Chance to block spell is unlucky. Ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's unlucky, so it's 14%, but it's an effective 2% spell block chance. Good catch. Very good catch. I guess if you went Svalin, then you could counter that. yeah. I don't think you have much of a choice because every single point of spell block is going to be way worse. Like even if you had to do all of these, you'd only be at 18%, and that's such an investment to be at 18% spell block. Yeah, suppress would be the only way to like still mitigate spells. But you'd have to invest quite a bit to get suppress. He's strength stacking, so he already has like so many uniques, which means he can't really get suppress from gear, which means he needs to get a lot of suppress on the tree. But he can't, you know, get the dex needed to like suppress cap with this guy. Not really a viable choice. He would have to spend a lot of points getting suppress and all that. Green Nightmare here would be good. Is it this? It's like this, right? Then you put Green Nightmare, you color this, and I think you color this, and that'll give you some spell suppress. I don't think that's enough though. Give me a quick second. Trying to figure out if I can make use of any tattoos or anything else to help me be a bit tankier. You have pretty decent life. Tattoos that would make you tankier, none you would want to use, because the ones that come to mind include taking your strength nodes and getting like block, and you don't want that. Your strength stacking. Int, you barely have enough int, so again, you probably don't want that either. The only one I can maybe think of is maybe journey tattoos. Like maybe journey tattoos you could maybe make work, but I don't think that's worth it. I guess it's a case of if you really want more defenses or offenses, you have to make some changes to like what you're using. Like you only want to give up Zov's blood. Why are you using Zov's blood? Are you converting? No, you're doing chaos. It's a whole bunch of chaos. So why Zov's blood? Avatar of fire? No. Oh, you're not using replica, you're using regular Alberons for the increased strength. Wait, why aren't you using replica? Oh yeah, because you're using Brutus's lead sprinkler, right? That's why you're not using replica, because you're getting flat fire with this. But you're also getting flat chaos with this. What does replica Alberons do? Cannot do non-chaos damage. Why is this taking over regular Alberons? Oh, Alberons is just a flat chaos damage. Doesn't scale with strength. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. That's why people use replica and not regular Alberons. This just says this is a flat chaos damage to attacks, whereas this one is scaling with strength. Yeah, because of your weapon, right? I get it. So you're doing fire damage, which means you want ash. Do you have a source of ash? A consistent source of ash that is not this? Because if you don't, you can give Zolf's heart to your mercenary, and I think that would be a decent source. Holy jeez. Arctic armor, blood rage. I mean, I think tankiness wise, you're already capped on res, unless you wanted to like give up some of your uniques. There isn't much you can do for Fizz. Like Fizz would be the one thing that you would want. Do you have sources of endurance charges? I'm assuming enduring cry. Or what is your enduring cry? So you should have. Jeez. Determination Infernal Cry Merc could also be very good for you. Can he have determination and war? He can, right? Infernal Cry Determination, he can. If you're using Kingmaker, I think that is the Infernal Cry guy. Yeah, Eruptor. Determination, Infernal Cry. And this is Fizz as extra. You granted you don't have much Fizz, so this doesn't help you too much. So I guess this is but this is, I mean, the term is the term. Do you have a Watcher's Eye? If you don't have a Watcher's Eye, you could consider PDR from Watcher's Eye. And since you're around this region, you might consider pathing to Avatar of Fire. You would have to take points from elsewhere. If you path here, then you can drop your amulet. If you drop your amulet, you can go for something like a Defiance of Destiny, and that could help. Alternatively, I guess there's F and F for, oh, you F and F undeniable, never mind. So yeah, Defiance of Destiny could be a decent defensive option for you, but I don't know if you want to drop the, this guy. But Zof's heart on your amulets should give you Ash, and then if you manually get Avatar of Fire, then you can get a defensive amulet or something and you'd feel tankier there. Other than that, yeah, you can get Ash from Merc ring slot. The problem with the ring slot is he would have to ignite. The Merc would have to ignite for the ring slot to take effect, whereas with the amulet, they just have to be nearby. All right, so all that said, I do need to run right now. I have something I need to do, but I will be back tomorrow with Gauntlet. I'll be streaming an hour early because, you know, Gauntlet starts an hour before my stream typically starts, so that's when we're going to be streaming. I am going to be doing Architect of Chaos Absolution. Then we are going to probably play around with PoB at some point in the next week or two for the Summon Phantasm setup we were brainstorming earlier, and we'll see if the automation way is really good or anything, you know, like. Thanks for the PoB. You are welcome. Glad I could help. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate y'all. Cantrip, Eric. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day or good night in my